Daddy Saturn is what we are talking about in this video and how it comes up with astrosex, yo. So Saturn is the planet of karma, responsibilities, lessons, rules, regulations, boundaries, babies, and that comes up with sex and relationship, intimacy, pleasure, all the damn things, boo. So Saturn is really like this planet that could really also relate to depression here. And Capricorns, if you are out there, give me some goat emojis down in the comments below, all the damn things. I love you, Cappy Boos, Capricorn rising. You can talk to a Capricorn about this. They will confirm it, that this is the most like depressive planet, but also that is the most anxious sign here of the zodiac collective. And so depending on where your Saturn is in, it can tell you a lot about what sign it is in, but also what houses it is in, about your sexual fears, your relationship fears, your relationship lessons, your karmic lessons that you might be playing out relationally with soul contracts here specifically in your birth chart. It can show you a lot about where you are meant to own your power, where you're meant to set and hold sexual and relational boundaries, where you might have seen maybe other people in your life not doing that, maybe not being the best role models to do that here as well, and how to take some steps forward with this too. So let's get into some astrosex secrets. If you're new, I am Shamelessly Sexy Jackie, a former certified sex therapist turned sexual confidence coach, psychic medium, astrologer, Reiki practitioner, tarot reader, channeler, all the damn things, spiritual entrepreneur. So if you're new, I need you to smash that subscribe button, boo, and be a part of my shameless squad. Turn all the notification bells on, loves. Okay, let's get into this today. Saturn is my chart ruler. So if you know, you've been watching my, tarot reads videos, my psychic channeling videos. I talk about that a lot. And so you're like, we're no strangers to that, Jackie. So again, this is honestly the planet in a birth chart that I think a lot of us might need a lot of work on ourselves for. And I don't say that to scare. I say that to share. And don't say that to shame. I literally say that to share this information and this wealth of knowledge when it comes to astrosex. Because Saturn, unlike Jupiter, so Jupiter likes to expand, Saturn likes to restrict and kind of hide. And when we do things like this, shameless squad in the world, a former mental health counselor here, this is anxiety. We like to be smaller, restrict, not be as big, not take up as much space here. And it could also be something where depression as well, or feeling down or out or sad could just come up, because Saturnian ruled people, or those that have a lot of Capricorn in their chart, could really be like, God, life is fucking hard. I'm so sick of these lessons. I'm so sick of being tested here. And that could be relationally, sexually, and in so many different ways. And so I feel like with Saturn, one of the biggest things to be mindful of is in regards of how you might also neglect yourself for other people, how you might fall on the sword for other people, how you might lack boundaries, maybe due to other people when it comes to sex, intimacy, love, romance, relationships, pleasure, how you might be afraid of someone maybe rejecting you in relationships. Like rejection wounds can come up quite a bit, or even a fear of failure, judgment with sex or dating or romance or pleasure. And this is something where Saturn can also show you how to alchemize that energy and become very powerful in regards of where you need to set and hold sexual and relational boundaries in your life and what it's really telling you about. And this could also be rewriting the rules of what you do value with sex, but also communicating that, discussing that, because Saturn wants to know the rules and the boundaries here. Saturn is a very serious, diligent planet here, and it does not want you to hold back. It wants you to talk about these things. So if your Saturn is in a really difficult sign here, you might actually naturally just hold yourself back and not talk about certain things that you're afraid of, avoid, maybe experience a lot of mental health symptoms or fears of being different or vulnerable or putting yourself out there, or not even prioritizing intimacy, or fear of like vulnerability as well as the unknown. And some people might be very guarded or very stoic, and that could also maybe be a little bit frustrating if you have a very critical or harsh Saturn that is maybe in its fall, or it's in its detriment, and It's not necessarily domicile. And so Saturn can really show us where we might be needing to work on our sexual fears, our sexual anxieties, and, you know, even our judgments of self or others, or any shame that we've experienced if we are sexually vulnerable. Saturn is also the planet of kinks, and that's one of the things that I think a lot of Saturnian ruled people, Capricorns, and you know, traditionally also Aquarius, and modern day Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. So Cappies and Aquariuses say hi to me on this channel, that they want to know, you know, about the rules, about the regulations, and about different things when it does come to sex, but also like kinks and intimacy and pleasure. And it's almost like if someone were to put that out there on the table, there can be, you know, a fear of that judgment, or a judgment wound or rejection wound here, if that person has experienced that before in relationships, of somebody maybe not being as sex positive and shaming that person, where it's like, I'm not going to fucking say shit then about my sexuality because someone just shamed me for my kinks. And I just want to tell you, if you are a part of the BDSM kink community, like, your kink is beautiful, your pleasure is beautiful, your turn-ons are beautiful. And with BDSM and kink and boundaries and Saturn, think about it. This is one of the biggest things here. The 4 C's of BDSM and kink are communication, caution, care, and consent. And when we think about vanilla-ish sex, which I can't think of a better word for that, and I don't know of anybody who has yet, so if there is one, you let me know down below. I'm trying to be as sex positive and inclusive as possible with language. And how often do folks who maybe have cis-het vanilla sex talk about those 4 C's? Right? Like, how often is it consensual, communicated, there's care that's shown, and caution? And so I feel like that's one of the best things to learn with Saturn, is figuring out what these fears are, these vulnerabilities are, or even kinks here as well, and understand, you know, what are the rules around sex and sexuality, and also, am I holding anything back? Am I restricting myself from not having the best sexual experiences? You know, am I wanting, you know, a play partner to eat my cake and have it too? A play partner because maybe my primary partner is not interested in any of that, and maybe I want a second one, and maybe I want to have a different kind of relationship. And Saturn in certain signs can really show that, or in certain houses too, Shameless Squad. And so I feel like there's so much to be mindful of when it can also talk about different things. And, you know, what you resist persists. And so Saturn's lessons can also be, don't avoid, don't run away, don't like run away from this sexual conversation with your partner, or this intimate moment with somebody, or someone that you're in love with, right? Like, don't run away and hide from that, because the more you avoid, the harder it's going to get later. And then you're going to feel that from Saturn here. And so Saturn teaches us to be diligent, to be disciplined, and to be mindful of, you reap what you sow when it comes to your lessons with sex, intimacy, relationships, and pleasure, Shameless Squad. And I know my Capricorns will attest to that down below. You know, related to astrosex or not, I know they freaking will. Because they are ruled by probably one of the toughest planets out there. It's not fun all the time. And, you know, with Saturn and Jupiter is also like, you know, this karma is good to you. Yay, you have this date night, or you have 5 dates this week. Woohoo, good karma, so fun. And, you know, Saturn, and those relationships may not last, okay? Let me preface it with that. But Saturn might be like, ugh, you're getting like this dud and this stud and this stud and this stud. But is there like a common theme in those 4 people that you went out on a date with? You know, did they tick off any red flags that you were like, oh my God, this is continuous. There's some sort of pattern or some sort of lesson that I haven't applied here. And then you go out on a date with that 5th person, and this other person has like 5 options, and you're like, I don't have any. But you go out on a date with this 5th person, and it's like, that's your one option that you're like, oh my gosh, like, this was actually really beautiful. We were compatible. They want to meet me up again. They are showing up. They're solid. They're sturdy. They text me back after dates here. Saturn's going to give you a long-lasting relationship, whereas someone might be dating 5 people and none of them could even like hit, right? So it's all about the different types of karma that we reap and what we sow here. And so Saturn is in it for the long haul when it comes to these things here. Jupiter can be very fun, quick, spontaneous, yay, happy-go-lucky, right? You get a date, you get a date, you get a date, right? But Saturn is going to give you lessons to apply to the future of a relationship, of a marriage, or of partnerships if you have multiple, and make sure that it is solid and stable and long-lasting for those that want the serious commitments. Much different energies. So Shameless Squad, let me know how you feel about this video, if it resonates, if you relate, if it was helpful to just learn a little bit about Daddy Saturn with astrosexuality here. If you want to learn more and work with me in a beautiful community on this, you get me for 14 weeks in a supportive community, answering your questions about your astrological blueprint, birth chart, everything like that, going through pleasure work exercises that you get to do for your reflection, getting to study and learn this information with PDF guides and really enjoying it, as well as having lifetime access, my 3 exclusive decks to these programs, as well as a second whole program for you to learn how to master astrosex astrology and become the best astrologer that you can be, baby. So make sure to hit subscribe, turn all those notification bells on, like this video, comment down below, help the channel grow. I love you, Shameless Squad, and always hit more ... to book a consultation with me for these astrosex programs, baby, and join the Astrosexy Shameless Squad community and fam. I love you. Stay tuned for more. Stay shameless.